Welcome back to Hannity. Now, last week, Mr. President spread the wealth. He announced his lofty plan to make community college free for everyone, except, of course, you, the taxpayers. Now, naturally, members of the Hollywood elite, they rushed to support the president, what he says will be $60 billion. His proposal included among them Tom Hanks, who went to community college after high school. Now, he submitted an op-ed to the New York Times, and he wrote, quote, "I'm guessing the new Congress will squawk at the $60 billion price tag, but I hope the idea sticks because more veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan this time, as well as another generation of mothers, single parents, and workers who have been out of the job market, need lower obstacles between now and the next chapter of their lives." Here at the debate for Obama's college proposal to college students, Chairman of the New York Federation of College Republicans, John Castimedes, is with us, as well as the president of Yale University College Democrats, Tyler Blackman. All right, you're a big Dem, lib. He says it's $60 billion. Why should the American taxpayer pay for even more failing government schools? Why should they pay for that?
So I think the $60 billion is obviously a big number, and that sort of shocks people.
You think $60 billion is big, really?
So I think $60 billion is a big number.
What if it's more than that, like health care is costing more? What if it's 4 times that amount, which is usually the case?
Here's another big number for you. $1.2 trillion. That's how much student debt Americans have right now. 40 million people in this country still have an outstanding student debt, and that's up from 29 million.
Why should Americans that work hard and pay their taxes, and maybe they'd like to go to college, but they can't afford it? They can't afford a new car. They can't afford to buy a house. They have to wait years and build up money so that they can put a down payment on a house or a car. Why should you look in the camera? You tell those hardworking Americans why 60 or 100 billion of their dollars need to go to students to pay for their college.
Well,
why?
We want the economy to grow again, and we know that this is actually the best way to go about growing the economy by investing in education.
Investing in education. Don't we do that from kindergarten to high school?
No,
Do you think generally speaking, our public school system is a success or a failure?
I think
failure.
I think education is definitely a success. If someone wants to get ahead in this
education
world,
is a success.
Dream
I didn't ask you that. Is American public schools a success or failure?
It would be much greater failure if it were underfunded, even more so.
All right. So the fundamental question we have to ask is investing in community college worth it? We not only have an education crisis, we have a jobs crisis as well. Why are we spending all this money on community college when we need to focus on the public school system, like you said? Is 2 years of community college going to make up for 18 years in a failing public school system?
Well
I don't think so.
Let me ask this. Do you know how much debt we have as a country right now?
Yeah, about 17 trillion.
So it's about going to 18 trillion. You know how much in terms of unfunded liabilities we have as a country?
No.
100 trillion. Wait a minute. All of that money, we have robbed both of you blind. How do you think we're going to pay all that money back?
How about creating jobs and investing in education?
You're going to let us drill for oil?
Don't distract.
No, you're against that.
No, don't distract.
Can we drill for oil, or are you against drilling?
No one's against drilling, period. But let's talk about how we want to grow our economy. We know we live in a 21st century world. We want to be able to prepare our students.
I see you reading your notes there, but that's not the important part. I'm asking you, would you as a liberal support drilling and jobs in the energy sector? Drilling, fracking, coal mining. Do you support those?
To moderate degrees, but I also recognize that those are only temporary solutions towards moving towards renewable energy.
I absolutely support them, and as we've seen in Pennsylvania and other states that have legalized
the Balkans, and North Dakota.
Job boon.
Job boom.
Yeah, but do you think that's a permanent solution?
I think it's a solution that would be the biggest economic boom this country has ever seen.
Not to mention it reduces our dependency on foreign oil.
Huge national security benefit. Wouldn't you agree?
In the short term, it is fine to be doing to drill for oil, but in the long term, we have to have more creative solutions than that. That's why we need to equip people.
Let me ask you a question. How about you, Tom Hanks, and all you Hollywood liberal friends, and you Yale guys? Why don't you guys, if you want to sponsor a kid to go to community college, why don't you do it personally instead of taking from the nurses, the contractors, the electricians, and the plumbers that pay those bills? Why don't we do that way?
Because we want to invest in these people so that eventually they become taxpayers. That's why I actually think
that the average American gives half their income in taxes. Is that too much? How much? At what point do you say out of every dollar that a person pays in taxes, state, local, federal taxes, property taxes, is enough?
I think we get it all back. We invest in our country.
No. Do you think how much taking from one individual is too much? How much should you say enough government, they get enough money?
It depends on your income.
Okay. How much?
So I mean, if you're in the very lowest brackets, then we shouldn't be taking income taxes out, but that doesn't mean that we're not taking out
the
sales
bottom
tax.
50% of wage earners only pay 3% of the bill. Did you know that?
But why would we want them to pay more?
The top 1% pays 38%. Is that enough?
It doesn't seem unfair to me because we want this society to be funded.
Society to be funded.
We want to be able to have the kind of programs where we are building roads and we are investing in our education system, and we have to fund that somewhere.
Right. The good news for you is Winston Churchill said, if you're 20 and not a liberal, you don't have a heart. I think you have a heart. If you're 40, though, and you're not a conservative, then you come back on the program and I'll have to say you don't have a brain. Once you start paying those bills, you're going to have a different take. Good to see you. And coming up...